Good evening, and thanks for joining us. My name's James Ebert, candidate for City Commissioner here in Richmond, and I'm joined tonight by Ed McDaniel, also a candidate for City Commissioner, and later on in this broadcast, you'll be joined by Commissioner Mike Brewer. So, before we begin tonight, we wanted to make sure the voters had an opportunity to get to meet and see some of the ideas of the candidates this year. As we all know, traditionally we have a political forum hosted by the Chamber. That event didn't happen today, so the collective three of us thought it was very important for the voters to get direct information from the candidates themselves. So I think we'll start this evening off just by doing simple introductions. Ed, I'll let you have the floor first.
I'm Ed McDaniel. I currently work at Markel American Insurance Company. I was a commissioner for 4 years. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. Married with 5 daughters and have been in Richmond for 25 years. It was an absolute honor to serve as commissioner from 2019 to 2022. That's right. Yeah, 2022. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got a lot accomplished in that time frame, and in that time frame, Mr. Ebert here was also our chief of police, and we were able to work together for many years and got a lot of things accomplished, a lot of good things accomplished. Would you agree, James?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you the audience a little bit about myself. So a lot of people know me from many different avenues. Most likely you would know me from being the chief of police here in Richmond from late 2016 to mid 2021. A lot of accomplishments during that time. We were able to save millions of dollars over the years for taxpayers, basically getting them right back to the city budget, which allowed the city to grow in other different ways. We were able to restore our manpower levels back to where they should be at the time. And then we had the distinction of having the first state accreditation for the city of Richmond for the police department.
I remember that. That was a good day.
All three of us were there. It was a great accomplishment, and I'm glad to see that they're building on that tradition, that history now, and advancing it with the current chief of police.
Oh, yeah. Rodney's doing an excellent job. Excellent job.
Couldn't be any better. So most of you probably have that from my background. Like Ed, I too am a veteran. I retired out in 2017. I had 20 years, but I split it between 2 branches. So I guess I couldn't make my mind up on that. I started in the United States Marine Corps, enlisted as military police, and then I went over and enlisted to the Navy and ultimately finished my career. I got a commission as a naval officer. I had a couple of tours as a commanding officer and got to finish out 20 years with that. Exciting career. Still serving, but now more as in the dependent role, as my wife is still in the Navy Reserve. She's a master chief and is currently serving. She hits her 20 years this December too, so time flies for sure.
That's awesome. Very nice.
So between that, obviously we have a great impact and a great love for the veteran population of Richmond and Madison County as a whole. And then I would say, I guess the next group of people probably know us from youth sports. I've been around the youth softball league for a number of years. My daughter, Katerina Ebert, has played a lot of local recreational ball and travel ball over the years. So I got the honor and privilege of coaching those young kids since they were yay high all the way up to now they're into high school already. So the time flies on that. And then I guess the last thing a lot of people know me about is doing the chef of police and my love for cooking. So, I look for opportunities to share those. One coming up for Hope's Wings is having the chili cook-off later this Saturday, actually. So I encourage everybody to come out and take advantage of that. I will put my award-winning chili on the line.
So you won it last year, right?
I won a couple of them. I won it with the Special Olympics, and the Veteran Center had a chili cook-off. So I'm riding a two winning streak going into this. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. That's Ed McDaniel. Y'all all know him from his great work. And like I said, Commissioner Mike Brewer will be getting on here a little bit later on. But I guess we should get to some topics that, everybody wants to kind of know about.
Absolutely.
And I guess we'll start with the new park. And I'll let you kind of lead because you were on the commission when that decision was made.
Yes. The new park out off of Goggins and Tates Creek was an idea that Commissioner Brewer and I had on a Saturday morning. We went to City Hall and met with the city manager, Rob Meinrich, And we kind of bounced around. At that time, we were 278 acres in deficit on recreational land. So we, according to the state, needed that park in order to become good with our recreational land versus the size of community we have. So at that time, if I remember correctly, it was either apartments were going up there from a developer, or we were going to buy the land and make it a park and stop that. So we chose the latter. We bought the land and got the park going. And before I left the commission, we were to the engineer stage of the development of that park, and it's going to be a really, really exciting park for us. It's going to have one of the state's largest playgrounds. It's going to open up more of the travel sports for our community. And what that means for us is tax revenue. People, when they come here, they're going to spend money on hotels, gas, restaurants. So it's going to be a real positive for our community once it's built. The only thing that I would say, and I would imagine you and Commissioner Brewer would agree, is with the last couple of years, there's been a negative on the development. And what I mean by that is we're developing at a high rate, but our infrastructure is not catching up with the development rate. So,
I agree.
Once we get in there, we really need to do a focus on catching our infrastructure up with our rate of development. And, we've got several arteries in the city that get jammed up. And we need to come up with some good ideas to eliminate that congestion to the best of our ability.
Absolutely agree. And I think I've been in on the campaign trail probably alongside all the candidates for this cycle. I started way early in February, and that has been one of the two main consistent themes that I've seen throughout this campaign is traffic. The super majority of people I've talked to, they understand the value of us continuing to grow and continuing to have new and creative things, but there is a great worry about that traffic issue. And I agree with you full force that we should be looking for those solutions, right? And there's not always going to be easy solutions to it, but that's part of being an elected official is making those tough choices and looking for opportunities to work together with other entities to get better traffic solutions.
Right, and when you're when your infrastructure is lacking this much, the last thing you want to do is send a ton of money to another county.
That's true.
Okay. It's just that to me was not good planning, and that money could have been used to benefit our city and improve our quality of life.
Absolutely. And I think, there's so many different ways that we could constructively use that money here in the city limits. And kind of before we go to commercial break, one thing I wanted to hit on is we do need to keep an eye on, with the growth that we've got coming, that the first responders continue to be able to grow themselves. Police and fire coverage throughout the city limits needs to be able to keep pace with the growth that we're having to ensure we have a safe society.
Yeah, and I would just add to that when we're in there as a collective group, we need to take a hard look at the pay, and we need to take a hard look at our health care carrier. And try to get a better plan with better premiums for our employees to make their life better.
Absolutely. We're going to step away and take a quick break. Once again, I'm James Ebert, retired Chief of Police. This is Ed McDaniel, former City Commissioner. When we come back, we'll be joined by Sitting Commissioner Mike Brewer. Thanks for watching.
Richmond's very own TV station Signal is now stronger than ever. If you're enjoying free over-the-air TV, rescan your TV now for all the channels WBON TV offers, including Channel 9.1 with the AMG network featuring great programming like Forensic Files, Cheaters, plus live local sports and our daily Live at 5 local newscast. Channel 9.2 with the Buzzer Network. Enjoy your favorite game shows of yesteryear. Channel 9.3 is the Heartland Network with classic country and southern gospel music, The Crook and Chase Show, classic movies, Jimmy Houston Outdoors, and much more rural living programs. And Channel 9.4, that's Retro TV, featuring classic TV shows and movies you love and remember. For more information on over-the-air TV, visit our website, WBONTV.com, and click the over-the-air tab. Drop us a line today and let us know where and what you're watching. Email us at info@WBONTV.com.
If you love local sports, you'll love the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Join your host, Michael Watkins, and Samantha Burford as they cover sports news for the greater Madison County area. Get your local sports news every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on WBON Channel 9 and on radio at Y92.5, V99.3, and WKXO Sports Radio 103.5. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show is also brought to you by Aero Auto Glass, Nuevo Vallarta, and Bishop's Small Engine Repair.
At WBON TV 9, you can count on our weather team to keep you up to date with all the latest developments, watches, and warnings.
We're here for you night and day, 24/7, no matter what the weather brings.
WBON TV 9 and our media partner 100.7 The Coyote are dedicated to you. That's why we say when the weather turns extraordinary, so does our coverage.
Get your forecast each weekday during the Live at 5 newscast on WBON TV 9, where every local story starts here.
And welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Once again, I'm retired Chief of Police from Richmond, James Ebert, candidate for City Commissioner. I am now joined by current Commissioner Mike Brewer. Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We've sort of been planning this out for a few days, and I wanted the public to know that the three of us are for setting our sights on the progress of Richmond. And I've tried to implement a plan of action over the years since I've been on the commission that shows that as a commissioner, I want the best for our community, and that means all of us. And I think we're in that direction. We started on that in 2019, and we are going to continue in that direction to make Richmond one of the finest cities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll start with the question that's probably the most burning one of this campaign season, and it's the money and the series of votes that have gone in to the money going to Georgetown Scott County deal. I would fancy you as an expert on this, as you are a sitting commissioner and you've done the votes on it against it and have been very vocal against it. I'd like for you to kind of tell the viewers what this Georgetown deal is and kind of your stance on it.
Okay, it's kind of hard to just put this in a small perspective of what's going on in our community, because you have to start in the beginning. And as you go back, you look at how this all came about. And really and truthfully, I had to do some catching up of myself as a commissioner to find out exactly what was going on. Look, there's it's called KPDI money out there, which is grant money that comes from the state. And what they do is that you match that money from your community with that, and then they want to use that money in Georgetown, Scott County to purchase a farm, a Wells farm that's there, and to start a industrial park. Now, that's just to purchase the property. That's not to say that there's going to be additional money looked for to do the infrastructure, which is road, street, electric, water, sewer. There's so much money that's going to have to be put into this. And as you well know, we have an industrial park. And I can remember the day that our sitting governor said this is the golden egg for industrial parks setting on I-75. Now there's 27 build-ready sites in the state of Kentucky right now.
Out of that 27, you're talking 4,700 acres of land. So, and if you put it in the order that it goes, if they're saying it's going to take $28 million to $30 million to develop the infrastructure for a new industrial park. There's 27 out there. We're not going to get all of the money sent to Georgetown to build it. So in order for it to be done, everybody's going to have to step up and add additional money. And the only way I can see that as a sitting commissioner, and you all well know, it's tax dollars. So if you're going to take tax dollars and do this, you're going to have to take away from something. And I'm not taking anything away from our quality of life in Richmond and our public safety. I've always been a proponent of those two issues. And I think Ed brought up the fact about health care and for our employees, and you did too, and that's where we need to focus on. But listen, you can't, I get tongue-tied on, you cannot push this kind of money out and save your community. They want to put an authority board together that just about supersedes everything that you are elected to do as a city commissioner. It would have the power to go out and borrow money in your name. The indebtedness there, James, you would be responsible, the city of Richmond would be responsible for paying that indebtedness off, its share. And, I mean, when would it stop? I mean, they're talking 20 years to 30 years down the road of maybe getting part of your money back as a community. And I just, this is my town. I don't want to do this I respect the people. I've talked to the people of Great Crossing a great deal. Those friends of Great Crossing, they send me stuff all the time. I have documents that have been here that I have kept that are surprising. And I want to say one last thing about this, and I'll send it back to you.
All right.
But I want you to, one of the first statements, and I admire him for saying it, was Joe Pat Covington stated that in 6 years in Georgetown, Scott County, they're going to have at least 5,000 kids graduating from school. And out of that, he stated, we need to keep them here. In order to do that, we got to give them jobs. And I want to give our kids graduating here from Ignite, from Model, Madison Central, Southern, all of those places, I want them to have an opportunity to work here.
Commissioner Brewer, I'm glad you brought that up, because that actually, we have a short amount of time, and this is a huge topic that we've been talking about for months on the campaign trail. And you did a great job laying out kind of the general direction of how that project's supposed to go, and it's probably not going to go that way because, like all things in government, it rarely works right to the deadlines. But I think the point I want to raise with the citizens of Richmond is, like you said, we have the golden, for me, I call it the golden egg right here too, right? You have site-ready land. You've got 2 colleges that will give us college-educated personnel. We have 2 Ignite campuses that give us trade personnel that go to that. You have a level of infrastructure that's supported by rail and by airport. So we have all the stuff to make this happen without having to go seek a 30, 40-year investment with very low return. I know we don't have a lot of time, and I'll have to wrap up my time as I'm going to vacate my seat to bring back Ed McDaniel for the last section. But I wanted to briefly say on my way out, thank you all for taking the time to listen to the candidates. It's important to be an informed voter. And I will do my sign off basically to say press 3 for Big E and stay with us, and we'll be back, and I'll switch my seat out with Ed McDaniel. Thanks for watching.
Richmond's very own TV station Signal is now stronger than ever. If you're enjoying free over-the-air TV, rescan your TV now for all the channels WBON TV offers, including Channel 9.1 with the AMG network featuring great programming like Forensic Files, Cheaters, plus live local sports and our daily Live at 5 local newscast. Channel 9.2 with the Buzzer Network. Enjoy your favorite game shows of yesteryear. Channel 9.3 is the Heartland Network with classic country and southern gospel music, The Crook and Chase Show, classic movies, Jimmy Houston Outdoors, and much more rural living programs. And Channel 9.4, that's Retro TV, featuring classic TV shows and movies you love and remember. For more information on over-the-air TV, visit our website, WBONTV.com, and click the Over-the-Air tab. Drop us a line today and let us know where and what you're watching. Email us at info@WBONTV.com.
If you love local sports, you'll love the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Join your host, Michael Watkins, and Samantha Burford as they cover sports news for the greater Madison County area. Get your local sports news every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on WBON Channel 9 and on radio at Y92.5, V99.3, and WKXO Sports Radio 103.5. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show is also brought to you by Aero Auto Glass, Nuevo Vallarta, and Bishop's Small Engine Repair.
At WBON TV 9, you can count on our weather team to keep you up to date with all the latest developments, watches, and warnings.
We're here for you night and day, 24/7, no matter what the weather brings.
WBON TV 9 and our media partner 100.7 The Coyote are dedicated to you. That's why we say when the weather turns extraordinary, so does our coverage.
Get your forecast each weekday during the Live at 5 newscast on WBON TV 9, where every local story starts here.
Well, here we are again.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. The good old days.
The good old days. Back in 2019, when we sat on the commission before, it was quite an eventful time. We got a lot of projects done, and those that I've been very proud of. I know you are, and I know James has lent his support to Richmond itself, and you can't find better people that are interested in what happens in our community than the three of us.
I agree.
And I want to say this. Most of the time when people talk politics, they talk about themselves. And you're supposed to sell yourself to the community. I get that. But I want to sell the people, because people, they come here to Richmond for two reasons. One, they were either born here and lived here all their life, as I did, and as I have. And then we have people like you and James who moved here for a reason. You liked Richmond, you stayed, and this is where you're raising your families, and this is what you do. And this is very important to the community, to have people from outside that come and represent the people and not just themselves.
Right.
So, as a full-fledged Richmond night, I thank you two for doing just that. So let's just take a minute. We talked about the Parks Department and the things that have grown with the new park system. Its first phase of it is 75% done on Takes Creek and Goggins. So when that's finished, we'll start phase 2. And that's when the meat and the vegetables are on the table, because
Right.
we're going to start seeing development, and the buildings are coming in, the roads are going to be there, the fields are going to be there. We got so much going on in that it makes this community one of the top growing communities, and I say the city of Richmond, in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So given that, where do we go to from here? You know, I ask myself that at times, and I've even asked you and James that. What are we going to do next? Well, my part is I want to make Richmond be instead of 6th or 7th, I want it to be 3rd or 4th leading communities in the state of Kentucky. So how do we get there? We do that by working together. We don't, we focus on things that change the community. We've done well by never, and I say never, had a tax increase.
Right.
We've finished off this last budget, and we were well under budget, and we saved the community money. What's next?
Not sending our money to another county. Don't tell me that we can't afford 911 and then send $2 million to Scott County.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to impose a fee on us because they can't afford it, but we can afford to send money to another county. You don't go on headhunting missions,
Right.
and spend $50,000 of taxpayer dollars that yielded 0 results. The list goes on and on. Where we go from here is smart development.
Right.
And, look at our nonprofits. We have a lot of really good nonprofits in this city, and we need to be equal to all of them.
Yes.
And because it seems like, there's favoritism towards one, but we need to really bear down on these because those nonprofits help us as a city.
Right.
They provide a valuable service for us. And, the folks that run those are just outstanding people.
Well, you sat on one of the boards.
I do, yes.
The CASA board, and Victoria is ACES.
Oh, yeah.
You can't find a better person than her. Jennifer with hospice. We can go on and name these and go on. They, like they said, like you said, they provide a service to this community that is second to none. And I want us to help those groups. I want us to be part of their growing as they are part of ours.
Right.
So, like I said, it's just a community effort. We have to focus on our community. We spend money on things that we shouldn't. We have a policy and procedures manual in our office at City Hall, and we should follow that. We deviated from that at one time, and it didn't pan out well. And not to put a sour look on it, but it didn't help us together.
Right.
It sort of like made us enemies of each other when we should have been focused on what is important for Richmond. And like I said, smart growth, quality of life, spending the money in the correct manner. So let's get back to what we know best, and that's working together.
And to that point, I'm really excited at the prospect that us three, James Ebert, you, and myself, can be working together because we all share a very similar vision. We're very different, and there's going to be times when we don't agree with each other on the commission, but I know that we'll all be able to work through any differences of opinion that we may have and work towards the best for our city of Richmond. And that's what we're here to do, is to provide a really good quality of life for our citizens and grow Richmond in a very positive and smart manner.
Well, I hope that the public gets a chance to see the three of us. We didn't have the form, but I wanted us to have the public meet the candidates. That's us. And we will make a promise. We will work for Richmond, and we will work together.
All the time.
All the time. So let's just focus on that. That's where we are. So
I want to thank you for all the years of service you've given Richmond, and it's been great. And that's going to wrap up our candidate show for us this evening, folks. Again, if you have any questions, we're all very accessible. So shoot us a message on Facebook and ask any questions you want. Any one of us here, James Ebert, Mike Brewer, myself, will be more than happy to answer any question you may have. And come November the 5th, please remember spots 2, 3, and 4. That's Mike Brewer, James Ebert, and Ed McDaniel for City Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.